Hello there and welcome back to The Disconnected. I am here with my sister who is drinking wine, and one of the things that I asked my patrons about is what we could discuss with my sister. And one of the things that we brought up were essentially the movies that made us, the things that we watched growing up and that made us movie fans today. So let's get into it.
I don't know how to start this. So, Ryan, sir, I guess, I'm, asking like I'm interviewing. What's, the first movie you remember watching then that, really made an impact on you?
I think the first movie I saw in theaters was Beauty and the Beast. And if I remember right, and this is going to be really funny to reveal on here, that was when your mom was pregnant with you, and she raced me to the front, and that's what put her into bed rest. So she was.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
She was pregnant and on bed rest for 4 months.
I love being on bed rest, honestly.
Yeah, me too. So that was I think that was the first one that really I saw in theaters and had an impact. First cult type movie I believe was Halloween, and I saw that in the Nancy house in Barstow. Weird.
Yeah.
I was only 8 years old, and the way the house was set up, we had a house, a garage, and then a small backyard and a back fence. And after the movie, I was stiff the entire time, supposedly. And my dad bet me $5 that I wouldn't run and touch our back fence and come back. But because of the garage, it was impossible to see the back fence from the house. Gosh. So I just said, screw that. I'm not doing that for $5.
Opposite of Jonah.
Yeah, basically. Jonah would do anything for $5. What about you? What's the first one that made any sort of emotional impact?
So, this is really weird and really random, but the first movie that I remember wanting to watch over and over and over again was My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
I don't remember that at all. I was expecting Grease or something like that.
No, I was obsessed with My Big Fat Greek Wedding when I was a kid, and it was really weird. I don't remember what year it came out. I might have been 10 or 12, so maybe it was when you were a little older. But yeah, I guess that's the first movie that I remember being
You were pretty obsessed with Grease before that.
I did love Grease.
And then the one I show the patrons, and you've actually already seen it in the closet, I bought Coyote Ugly recently, because you also love that one.
Coyote Ugly is one of my top 5 favorite movies, and I don't know if it's because I actually love it, or if it's for nostalgic purposes.
I mean, it's got John Goodman. It's a very cliche movie, but...
And Piper... I don't know how to say her last name.
Pierre or something
like Parabolo or something.
Oh, okay. I was way off.
Something like that. But I love her. And then I also like the songs. I also really love, as you can tell if I just mentioned Grease and now this, I love movies that are about music and surround music.
She has not stopped singing Hamilton since she got here.
It's embarrassing.
What else? What was the first cult type movie that you watched? Because I don't know that answer.
I honestly think it was Nightmare on Elm Street. I remember watching that when I was younger, and then I also remember, I didn't watch the full Exorcist, but I remember watching some of it, and my mom actually got so scared that and it was the original one, so the one from, was that the 70s, 80s?
Yeah, well, it's that version. It was when, it was when the director's cut of the film came out, which showed her doing the spider walk down the stairs for the first time, and there's one other scene. It might have been the peeing scene on the carpet. I'm not sure if that was in the original cut or not.
Yeah.
But,
whichever one it was, I honestly don't remember which exact one it was, but I remember watching some of it, and my mom was so scared that she told me that I couldn't watch any more of it. So I went into the other room, and then she watched it all, got so scared that she didn't want it in her house and put it outside in the tree until my friend's dad came and picked it up, whose movie it was.
Yep.
So that's another one that I remember. But yeah, Oh, you know what? I remember one of them too. And this is from you, Wayne's World. Wayne's World was one of the first movies I remember watching and laughing at and enjoying when I was
actually getting the humor.
Yeah, I mean, I was probably still too young to even understand it, but yeah, that was something I always wanted to like. My favorite part too, I remember when I was younger, was that they had like that licorice thing on top of the car, and then I know the entire Bohemian Rhapsody because of Wayne's World.
Yep.
So that's another one for me is Wayne's World, I think, and you showed me Wayne's World, so
that's good to know. Wayne's World was my favorite, and it was because of the Bohemian Rhapsody scene. And when I was growing up, I was basically raised on Queen by our dad.
Yeah.
I
still love Queen.
Same.
But Bohemian Rhapsody just...
It's magic.
I know it hits different for a lot of people, but like, for the reason of Wayne's World, and remembering that it was like a movie that I actually like wanted to watch. But yeah, I honestly don't remember like liking kids movies. I know that I did, but like none of those were like...
You liked a lot of the Mary-Kate and Ashley movies.
I did love Mary-Kate and Ashley, but I think it was just for Mary-Kate and Ashley.
That's true.
Not because of the actual movies. I thought they were so cool.
And look at them now.
And I could tell them apart, and I feel like I was one of the only people who could do that, and so I was all... I'm so cool. But I remember... I don't know if this was like the very first movie that like scared... Can I cuss on this channel?
Yeah.
Scared the fucking shit out of me was The Strangers. And that's when I realized that I'm not really scared of like ghost movies or like that kind of stuff, but stuff with people, like hurting people, scares me so bad. And I believe that I watched that. Do you remember what year that came out, the first one?
2008, I think.
Okay, so I know I watched it at that point in time, but I remember watching it again because I've only watched that movie like 3 times.
Yep.
I love to rewatch things, so I only watched it 3 times, but I know like you've mentioned that you don't rewatch a lot, but I rewatch everything.
I don't rewatch a lot anymore because of the collection, but when I wasn't collecting,
because you have 5,000 billion trillion fucking million movies. But yeah, so I remember watching it when it came out, and that scared the bejesus out of me. And then I watched it again in like 2013, and I worked at In-N-Out at the time, and I had to close at In-N-Out, and I just remember like being so scared that I had to close because I was like, fuck, I have to walk to my car. And it was like, so I guess I didn't close, but I worked until like 1. Yeah. And then the closers left at like 3:30.
Oh, it's a late.
So, yeah, it's late. So, but like, if I was closing with everyone else, we could have all walked out together. But I had to walk out by myself, and so I literally like ran from like after we closed, I ran to my car, and then like drove home. And I got home, and I like ran from my driveway like straight into my house, and I was all. And that part, I think the part that freaks me out most is they're like, "Why are you doing this?" And then they're all, "Because you were home." And I'm always all, "I'm at home."
What's crazy is that movie affected me pretty much the same way because I believe it came out in 2008, 7 or 8, and I was just then living on my own for the first time, like without roommates and everything. And where we grew up, it wasn't as isolated as in the movie, but there are some places that it felt that isolated. Yeah. And yeah, the same sort of horror gets to me, more realistic, more like things that have eyes. I can actually place myself in. Well, the original, I don't know if you know this, the original was filmed somewhere around Victorville.
You know, someone told me that, I remember in like middle school, and I was like, you're stupid. And now I'm scared to go back.
I've been scared to go back for years.
Honestly, same, but for different reasons.
Yep. So what, gosh, I mean, we got at least one thing in common. What are some of the older ones that really got to you other than that? Well, first, do you remember the first horror movie you saw in theaters?
Yes, it was the remake of Friday the 13th, the Rob Zombie remake, I believe.
It's not Rob Zombie.
Who is it?
It's a lesser-known director.
Are you sure?
For Friday the 13th, yes. Rob Zombie redid
Halloween.
Yes.
We're movie buffs here. Okay, so it was Friday the 13th, and I don't remember what director it was. But I did, and I actually had one of my ex-boyfriends with me, and it was my ex-boyfriend, me, my sister, who at the time was 11 or 12, because I was 15, 16, and then my mom, and that's, I'm pretty sure
it came out in 2009, so she would have been 13.
Yeah, that sounds right. Okay, because Friday the 13th, when they stab that girl from underneath,
Yep.
and they pull it up, and it's just her topless and her boobs.
Yep.
And my, like, 17-year-old boyfriend at the time, and my mom was just like, and my ex-boyfriend literally, like, hid in his shirt, and I was like, oh, and I'm just sitting there like, boobs, nice. Me and Heather are just all, yeah. So I believe that was my first, like, horror movie that I saw in theaters, which is kind of crazy because I, again, was, like, 15 or 16. But, yeah, I feel like I have a lot of anxiety, so around horror movies, I didn't get fully comfortable with watching horror movies until I started, like, medication. Like, I've always loved horror movies. Like, always, 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 but I would literally convince myself that I was going to die if I watched them, and so I couldn't watch them for a long time. But now that I'm on medication and going to therapy.
And drinking.
Wine.
Let's see. What about final things before we wrap it up? Like favorite movie watching experiences? Because one of mine does involve you.
Tell me.
Let's have that be the finale.
Oh, goodness. My favorite movie watching experience. So I will have to say the Friday the 13th, that one was probably one of them because it was so funny. And everyone was just so awkward. But my favorite movie watching experience, I have a couple for different reasons.
Shoot.
One of them too was when I saw what's that movie with the snow dogs?
Snow dogs?
No, I was all shit. Is that what it's called? Some below eight below.
Eight
No,
Below.
Eight Below. I don't know. I think it's Eight Below. Anyways, it was really funny because one of the dogs died in the first, like, 10 minutes of the movie.
That's why it's really funny.
Well, no, that's not funny. Oh my god, no, my sister started, like, sobbing and cried
she
the
never did well with that.
entire time. And
Yep.
I just remember, like, not even being able to watch the movie
Didn't
fully.
we? Oh god,
Because she
what
was
was
crying.
it? We went to some horse movie, like Spirit.
Spirit, yes, that bitch cried the entire
Yes.
time.
I forgot all
she's
about
a
that till you
baby.
just
She
said that.
cries. So that's a really funny one for me. But I feel like one, I don't know.
We're gonna send her this link, by the way.
She's gonna be like, "Shut up, guys." Good. I guess I don't really have a favorite one exactly, but my favorite. We can go with my favorite type of way to feel after I've left a movie. Can we do that instead? Because
Sure.
I can't think of something on the spot because I'm nervous. My favorite way to, like, leave a movie and, like, how I feel is to either feel, like, super happy and, like, I just got out, and I'm also, like, a sucker for, like, cheesy romance stuff. So I'm like, oh my god, they're so in love. That's one of my favorites. And then also, too, feeling like I mentioned last night, where I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
Yep.
Like, oh my god. And, like, feeling just so, like, So, something that someone also mentioned on your Discord was talking about how movies brought us back together. And I think for me, and it's a good thing I haven't had a lot of wine yet, because I would cry. I think for me, something that I think is really cool is that, and we don't do it every week, but just, we live in different states, and just watching, like, picking a movie to watch together once a week, I think is really cool, especially because, like, even just having relationships with anyone as an adult is really hard, like, if you live in the same area, but, doing it long distance like that is really neat. So I think it's really cool that we still, like, find, like, a time to, like, watch a movie together, and then afterwards we usually talk for, like, 30 minutes, depending on how late it was and how long the movie was. But so I think that's something that's really cool, and I think that that's helped our relationship a lot over the past couple of years.
I agree. So one of my favorite movie experiences, and I think I shared this in a video before, but it's too funny not to share with her sitting right here. And it's not, this is more of a reason we're going to have to send this to Heather.
Oh gosh,
so,
okay.
I lived in a house in the town where we grew up, Barstow, and the way the house was set up, there was a gate to get in the backyard, there was a small little patio room, and then what was that word? There was a small little patio room, and then the patio room had a sliding glass door into the kitchen and a sliding glass door into the bedroom. And I had both of my sisters over and my fiance at the time, and we were watching a movie, and the movie was Paranormal Activity. And at the time, I had a really wonderful sound system with a really nice subwoofer and everything, and she's just now remembering this for the first time in years, it looks like. So during Paranormal Activity, if you've never seen it, they really teleport the scares that are coming, and it just comes through subwoofing bass like crazy. So I had a friend that was supposed to come over that night, and he was running super late, and he texted me and he said, "Hey, I'm on my way," and I said, "Hey, when you get here, this is what's going to happen." And I told him, I'm going to go unlock my sliding glass door in my bedroom, go through the patio room into my bedroom, and wait for one of these really big bassy moments, and then slam my bedroom door like 3 times just to scare my sisters. And something happened where either you found out or you weren't scared or something by it, but my other sister was sitting...
I think I saw his shadow.
My other sister was sitting in a recliner, and I was sitting on the couch, and one of these scares came, and he slammed the door a couple times. And first of all, I'm 6'5". My sister, how tall are you now?
I'm 6 feet.
And Heather is like 6'1" and a half.
She's 6'3".
Oh, Jesus Christ! So my sister was growing at the time. She was like 6'1", 6 feet at the time.
Yeah, because she had to have only been like
This
13,
was
14
or 15.
Yeah, okay.
So this was a long time ago, and he slammed the door, and she sprang out of this recliner and jumped onto my lap, thinking that something was about to go down, and it was the funniest thing I've ever seen. And I'm so glad that that happened because I adore that memory.
That is a really, really good one.
Thank you all for watching. We got more videos with my sister coming, and until next time, from one collector to all of you, have a good night.
Bye, guys.